Hey, hi, it's Sunny from StrivePath. So we get this question a lot, which is how do you create a college list? So let's quickly kind of walk through it. And the objective actually is by the end of this, you have a better sense as to how to do it and then also to ensure that it's well balanced. So now if you are a StrivePath student family, don't worry about it. We got this under control. We'll be working with you actually between really over the course of like second semester junior year to start and then finalize this process. So we take a look at college from four different filters: financial, how much can you afford? Academic, which is your academic profile and the type of environment that you like. Social, do you like the vibe? Geographic, is it big enough in an area that is important to you, um, relatively close to home or not? These are all very, very important. Okay, so financial fit, what is your budget? It's important for us to do this sooner in the process, which is actually why we have it as the first filter. And so the way that you do this is you effectively complete a net price calculator. And what a net price calculator is it serves as like a decent proxy for your student aid index, which is how much you should expect to pay for that particular institution type. And so we recommend three different types of colleges, not these in specific, but so we recommend in-state public because their cost structure is different than a private, where the tuition will be higher, versus an out-of-state public where it might actually kind of fall in the middle. So what you do actually is you just type in the specific college you have in mind and type in net price calculator. So if you look at the UC system, we've actually linked it here. You can see right here, you fill out this form. Doesn't take very long. And it's like maybe 9 questions. So if we just quickly do this, so married, 5, adjusted gross income 200,000, parents other income 0, taxes paid 65,000, assets 500,000. There you go. So it includes real estate as well. Adjusted gross income 0, other income 0, 0, 0. Let's see. So you can see here. So the student index is the potential financial resources of the family to pay for college. And what you want to look out for is whether the SAI is higher or lower than the estimated cost of attendance. If it is lower, then that means you qualify for aid. If it is higher, it means you would have no aid. Again, this is a proxy, right? So don't take this as concrete guidance. Rather, we suggest you fill out the FAFSA. And even after you get admission, there are scholarship opportunities that you might be eligible for. Now, if you're a student family, we have a database and a process about that. But if you're not, Google actually might be your best friend. Okay, so let's go through the last thing. So Western Undergraduate Exchange is a really, really interesting thing. And this is something that is offered by over 160 colleges, I believe, across like the 16 westernmost states. And the objective is to provide lower tuition for a resident of these 16 states if the college is participating and if the college is in one of those 16 states. So for example, if you are a California resident and you apply to Utah, your tuition won't be the same as out-of-state tuition. You'd actually pay less than that. Now, for many of these programs, they may have a GPA requirement, an SAT requirement. Some actually specify the major and college, so just look out for that. And many colleges do actually classify this as merit age, which may impact your eligibility for other types of aid. Okay, now, next piece. We say start with a questionnaire, right? Account for various academic, social, and geographic attributes. and also align them, how important are these attributes to your student. Now, what we like to do is we like to say, get this ahead of time. Otherwise, your preferences might change and they might get swayed. So this is what I mean by this. So here's ours. So in here, I can just zoom in. So we've got parent budget, right? Unweighted GPA, weighted GPA. We've got the academic profile. But now take a look at the questions that we have. How far away from home would you like to live? Does weather matter to you? Do you prefer liberal arts or research? Do you prefer exceptionally intense, mid-range, or less intense? Do you like co-op programs? How big of a role should athletics play on campus? So these are actually very helpful questions. And so I'd say start with a questionnaire. If you don't have one, I'm sure if you did a Google search, you can find a couple. But it's important that we start with that. Okay, let's keep going. So now once you have that, you can actually input the stuff into a few different search engines. Like Niche, as an example, does this. So they actually have like a really, really interesting questionnaire. And so in here, this is a test one. So my list, you can click there, but then here, top left, there's a college search button, and there's a college quiz. So you can actually go ahead and fill this out, right? So it'll ask you, where do you want to go to school? How important? It'll ask you for your GPA. Okay, and here are some of the questions. So you effectively kind of go from like the sliding scale, like what's most important to what's less important. And then let's just kind of fill this out. Okay, then here you go. So here are a list of colleges that match my preferences. So niche is great. So another one's Google. So Google's great. Just type in, um, school of a particular size in a particular state for a particular major. Google's actually great. The only challenge is it provides a lot of quantitative data and not very subjective measures like quality of food, right? College Navigator is also great too. It's very extensive, but similar to Google, it's very objective. And College Transitions, let's go ahead and go there. So College Transitions is also really great in that they have a comparison tool. So if you go to College Investigator, here it is. So let's say all states, let's do California, majors, architecture, selectivity, okay, and then locale, undergraduate. So really UCLA kind of comes up, right? Now if I did all states, there's a number. Now what I can do is I can actually do add to list, add to list, add to list, add to list. Now look at this. You can actually start to compare the various colleges. This is actually great. Again, I would just say it's primarily objective data, but it's actually pretty helpful. So now the challenge, though, that I'll highlight is, so some search engines will provide results for certain attributes. Some of them will provide search results for other attributes. So it'll be something you'll have to do, which is kind of triangulate a little bit. Now, again, if you're working with us, we'll help you do that. Okay, nothing compares to actually visiting a campus. So budget the time. Expect to iterate your list over a few months. This is not like a one and done scenario. Our preferences change. And just being on campus, there's really nothing that compares to it, right? Like go eat in the dining hall, right? Sit in on a lecture, observe students, take a tour. Just know that the tour that you take is more of like a marketing tour. So try to be as much of a student as you possibly can when you're on campus. And other tip, if you are looking at schools in the Northeast, don't just go over the summer. The weathers are drastically different in the winter. Okay. Now, balancing your list, this is typically our guidance. So 10% lottery, 20% low chance, 30 to 40% medium chance, and 30-40% high chance. And if you were looking at the UCs, just a tip, apply to all of them, unless you've got specific UCs in mind. Um, you can always visit the campuses afterwards as well. Now, we try to finalize our list by the end of June. Try to finalize yours at least by the end of September because the applications can involve a lot of work. Let's quickly kind of go through how do you ensure that your list is balanced. So we actually found this tool called College Vine, admission calculator. Click here. You can actually type in your colleges and you can add in your extracurriculars, what you care about, institutional preferences, your GPA. And now what you do is go to schools. You got a My List, and here you go. So I just added some schools, and then here is some data on my chances of getting in, right? So this will actually tell me this is a target. I don't have any reach schools. Here is a safety school. So the way that I'd kind of reclassify based on chance of admissions, reach schools, low chance of admission, target, medium chance, and then safety, high chance. So this is a great way to kind of just double check your list. But again, we really want to make sure that we do is we have a list that is balanced. Last thing I'll actually mention is how many is enough, how many is too many. Let me address how many is too many first. I'm aware students are applying to like 20, 30 schools right now. 30 is a lot. It's overkill. We typically work on 10 applications with our students, the UCs all being one. So I think the biggest thing here is going to budget time, right? I wouldn't go overboard and apply to dozens of colleges because that's going to take your time away from what's important, which is making the most out of high school. So there's no hard and fast rule. And then with respect to too few, it really depends. Like if you are a recruited athlete, a college might tell you, hey, apply ED and you're in, right? So it really depends. If you are not an athlete and applying early decision, or actually even if you are, it's always good to continue to work on other applications because you just never know. Okay? So I think that covers what goes into college fit, how do you build a college list, and how do you ensure that's well balanced. So with that, thank you so much for watching this. Hope it was helpful. And if any questions, do not hesitate to contact us at contact@mystrivepath.com. Thanks and good luck.